Hey everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Media at smarthustle.com. My name is Ramon Ray. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here today. If you're hearing the sound of my voice or seeing my face, please put some comments, do a share, say you like this. If you don't like it, email me or just DM me. Don't tell everybody else. But I'm so glad you're here with us today. We're here with Natalya Cappellini, and she is a contractor, has some things she does with HGTV. She's a wife, she's a podcaster, and a lot more. So Natalya, thanks for joining the Smart Hustle community and sharing your insights with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ramon. Thanks for having me on. I'm very excited.
You're welcome. So why don't you unpack a bit? Who is Natalya Cappellini and what brought us here today? I could do an opening for you, but I think you would do it best. You have a lot going on. I'm so excited to learn from you and your journey of in the contracting, in the building world. And just a little bit I can see of where you're at, whether it's your home or somebody else's, it looks beautiful. So
thank you so much. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So I went to school for architecture back in Boston, and where I'm from, and decided that, being behind a desk all day, every day, drawing the same things wasn't really for me.
Really?
Yeah, it just didn't really, tickle my fancy. So
Gotcha.
I co-opted during school working for large construction management firms, and I loved being in the field.
Okay.
I loved reviewing drawings that the architects had done, engineers had done, and trying to put it into the built world and make it happen. And that was a lot more fun for me. So when I left school, I had a very specific set of skills in the technology world of construction. So all the 3D modeling and things like that, coordination, and really just jumped right into it with big firms in Boston. And then when we moved to California in 2015 to San Francisco for my husband's tech job, I kind of had already started my own little side business of doing project management for homeowners because my day job was in the commercial construction space. So doing some, kitchen renovations and things like that on the side. And when we moved to San Francisco in 2015, I really started to dig more into that and worked for a large construction management firm, project management firm that was based in Ireland, but worked all over the world. And I was in charge of America. So that was quite the difference of going from,
That's a big thing. You should pause and say congratulations. I mean, you could have said I was in charge of Harlem or Brooklyn, which is great, but she's like, no, I was in charge of America. This is great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, as the U.S. outpost of the company, I was responsible for everything we had going on in America, and some were small projects and some were larger projects. But as the outpost, we were really on our own, me and the very few employees of the company that worked in the States. So that level of autonomy and that sort of drive really just escalated. And I realized, that there were certain things that were being made to be difficult on the executive side, and things that just didn't have to be as hard as they were. And I thought, I can do this. I'm managing projects pretty much virtually by myself at this all the way up to $4 or $5 million projects. So I thought, well, why am I doing this for someone who doesn't really care? And I'm not getting paid for it, and I'm not getting paid for working 90 hours a week.
Right.
I'm only getting paid for 40, and they don't seem to really care. And I think this can be done better if I had full control over it. So in 2018, I went out on my own and started Curato Design Build, which is the name of my company. And being based in Los Angeles is just so great. I mean, there's just such a plethora of subcontractors, vendors, makers. I mean, you name it, there's 100 trades in like the immediate area that can do it. And it's just such a great place to be, great place to work. And so in 2018, we actually started on a real estate development journey as well. My husband, Diego, and I. So we got to be our own client for the first project I did really on my own. And that was really exciting.
And just to break those two, just so I understand construction, and I want to ask you more about this in a minute. I want you to finish the story, but construction, you're building it. I'll give you a check to do XYZ, remodeling, demo, renew. What'd you say? Not real estate. What's the word? Development? I think you said.
Development.
Yeah. So that's where a side of it where, hey, this is an empty plot. Should we build here to make a profit in the future? Something a little different. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. On the development side, we partner with other investors, and we purchase buildings, usually with a tenant in tow, somebody that we already know is going to want to go into the space. And then we act as not only the developer, the owner, pushing through all the permits, city correspondence, all of that. And then I also build it as my company, Curato Design Build, does.
Love it. Love it. That's a lot powerful. So help us understand the construction business. Jim Collins, it's not a book, but he calls it an addendum or something, flywheel concept. I think every business, Nike, whatever, can be broken down to some simple concepts. For those that are not in construction, can you give us the fundamentals of how that works, if you can, just so we have a basic understanding of here's what it means to be in construction. What are the 3, 4, 5, 10 things that we need to know about the business?
Sure. So it's heavily project management based. So you're responsible for all the different trades that come in onto a job. So everything from mechanical, plumbing, electrical, concrete, framing, tile, painting, brickwork, like you name it. The GC, the general contractor, is responsible for it. So typically the way it works is an owner has a project and they've maybe started working with an architect to develop a set of drawings, or they're just starting that process and they bring a contractor in on the early side to help budget and kind of give them some idea of schedule, cost, issues that might come up, different sort of challenges. And then either I have get the set of plans from the owner or architect, or start working with them to get those done. And then we agree on a price and say, look, I can get this done for this amount, and this is all the scope, and this is based on the drawings that we have, and here's the schedule. And it's usually a negotiation, a little bit of back and forth, usually cutting some things out that might not be necessary, or what we like to call value engineering, which is working to reduce scope or change scope to bring down the costs. And then once that's agreed upon, then I'm authorized to go ahead, pull the permit, start the work, and then there are updates on budget and schedule throughout the process, invoices that are sent usually on a monthly basis on bigger jobs, all the way up until completion. And I act as their go-to point person for all things construction as well. So from project management, schedule management, managing the trades, interfacing with inspectors, with the city, all goes through me.
Woo, that's a lot of burden or responsibility, but you signed up for it, so you like it to deal with. Natalia, tell me, why is your company a success? What are some of the things? Because general contractors are a dime a dozen, as speakers are a dime a dozen. It's not a bad thing, meaning, but many of us, our businesses are unremarkable, except for us. So meaning, what makes your company, as you look over the past, just few years, 2, 3 years it's been, why is it successful to what it's been to date, your business? And secondarily, let's see what we can learn from you for anybody's business, if possible. So first, why has your business been a success? And then what can we learn from you for that?
Sure, absolutely. So I joke with my husband and other friends and whatnot about women being, I think, inherently better suited to a construction project management position. And I say that because, like, I personally will lose sleep over, if I didn't get something completed that day, or I have a headache about a sub and a worry about something not getting done, or something being done wrong, or inactivity, and I will inherently lose sleep over it, or I'll be up till 4 a.m. trying to figure it out, or pull all-nighters. And just the male contractors that I've met in the space, they'll be fine going home, at 5 o'clock and not really caring whether something gets done or not. We've had break-ins at projects up in the Bay Area, where I've waited till 6 a.m. for a police car to show up so I could write a report about the break-in, and I've waited there and ordered food to the job site, at midnight. And I think that the other women, we're very, very few in the construction industry that I've met, really go above and beyond what is asked to make sure that the client sees it as a completely seamless operation, and they're only notified when there's something that they need to be, abreast of. But they don't know the day-to-day struggles and the issues we face and the things that come up and the changes. They won't really be abreast of that, and that's sort of something we like to protect them from. Because they have their job. This isn't their full-time job. So it's not their full-time job to manage the construction. They need to do what they do, and I need to do what I do. And they hire the experts. So I think as a woman, but maybe just it's part of my personality as well.
I was going to say, it could be also your DNA, meaning to a degree, who Natalia is, very detailed and focused, but continue.
Very, very detailed, very focused. I also, I think I have a bit of ADD, where if, I get easily distracted on site, or people, subcontractors will come up to me all day long. I usually have, 25 to 40 people on site every day, and I'm sitting at a desk with my assistant project manager, and they ask questions all day. So if I'm working on something and then I get distracted or taken off that task, then I use different things like calendar reminders for myself, different types of lists. We use Trello, we use Yesware in our email to make sure that if we've followed up with someone, that we don't let it get away from us, and we make a reminders. So I think that's another thing that really helps my business because I'm constantly following up with everybody and need answers usually in a pretty consistent time frame or urgent time frame. Everything's urgent in construction when you have a schedule to maintain.
Of course. And I'm sure you can't do everything by yourself. So how do you, I noticed you mentioned an assistant project manager. How do you extend yourself, or is your company small enough at this time that you can keep your eyes on pretty much everything? You know the names of clients, or what is your vision for growth, or how do you today spread that detail to other members of your team? How does that work?
Sure. So I have two assistant project managers that help me out. But as we are growing, I am in need of a couple more people to help with that, because I do know every client now and I do know every project, and I am very hands-on. But I know that it's not scalable going forward to be in a million different places at once. So, part of that is like a growth plan and hiring more project managers to be able to take care of projects. I see my business growing to the point where, in a few years, I might not be a part of every contract or negotiation. I might just be told by my project managers about a project that we got, depending on size, of course. The bigger projects that are a little bit more complex require, I think the high level, and the experience. I feel like everything that could go wrong on a project has gone wrong in my experience. And so I have a lot of experience in, I've been in construction for 10 years. I've had my own business this business for about almost 3 years, but then I was doing other project management, before that back in Boston. So with my 10 years, and it's felt like, honestly, like 30 packed into 10, because it's just been so crazy and great and amazing. But I feel like with all that knowledge, I still will need to be involved to some degree, but I think that I'll have to get used to delegating more.
Yeah, and hey, no, that's part of growth. Exactly, it's part of growth. Any other tips or advice that you can think yourself that you've gone through as your company that's a secret sauce to what you do? One I can hear is detail, and I know running a business, it takes building the right team, have to have the right relationships. It could be pricing, it could be how you're marketing. Maybe yours is word of mouth, maybe doing ads. I don't know, but anything else in particular that you can think of that you say, Ramon, you know what? As I build this business, here's my 1, 2, or 3 big things. Then I want to talk about something HGTV or something maybe in the mix there somewhere. But what would you tell other business owners that are a key to building a thriving business? Anything else that you've had to do that this is, Ramon, tantamountly important?
Yeah, so I think building the right team is tantamount, and it's very difficult to hire. And it's very difficult to hire, based on expectations that are of yourself, and being able to find, like Diego, my husband, describes it, other unicorns. How do you find that? How do you hire for that?
Yeah.
And so I think hiring the right teams and being able to look for specifically what you're looking for in teams and in partners, I think is it's very important. But also taking care of your clients to the ends of the world. So making sure that whatever they need, their needs are being taken care of, and that and that level of communication is there. Because if you're not communicating with them on like a daily basis or weekly, whatever you've set up, whatever the expectations are, if you're not meeting them and they're in the dark, they have things that they're trading on, they need that information. So you can't just assume like, oh, I'll take care of it and they won't know, and I'll update them on a monthly basis. If certain things come up, or if you're not being communicative, then they can't go and act on that. So they need to know what's going on, and they need to be taken care of. So I think, I haven't advertised at all. I've been very lucky. It's just been complete like word of mouth, and referrals and repeat clients, which has been great. And, I've also selected the clients and the projects that I take on very specifically. I want to make sure that, it's somebody I can work with, and someone that is going to understand that I'm here to make their life easier, and, not micromanage or whatnot. And I know when you're first starting out that sometimes you might take on projects that you don't really want to take on, or are nervous about taking on, or have hesitations. And I've just been very clear about trusting my gut and making sure that I'm taking on clients and projects that I know will be a good fit for me and my personality as well.
Yeah, that's powerful. I don't like to ask questions about female owners or minority owners, as I am a Black guy, but I think it's important for this question. And I ask it, being a female founder of a construction company, has there been any issues there? And I'm just making this up metaphorically. Like, I know I have. I'll give you my story, Natalia. One day I was speaking, I'm the big Ramon Ray keynote speaker. I speak all over the world. Some old gentleman came up to me and gave me his car keys. He wasn't racist, I don't think. He wasn't bad. Probably a nice guy, in my opinion. Whether it's what do you call the stuff that's behind your head that you don't really think about, But I don't think he was some evil man. I just think just innocently like, hey, young man, here's my car keys. Have a good day. And I've had people give me their luggage. So I'm curious, and this may not have happened to you. Have you gone to construction sites and people like, darling, you can hold the stop sign over there? Anything like that ever?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I get asked on site by new subcontractors, where's the GC? Where's the GC? Where's the boss? I'm like, that's me. Hi, Natalia. Hello.
Like,
How
no,
can I help
really,
you?
I mean, really, who's your boss? Who really run the
Right.
and they
Right.
push you to
Or, or do you need to get approval on this? I'm like, no, I'm the one approving it. So it happens all the time. It happens with inspectors. It happens with all different kinds of people. I mean, it's, the neighbors of the projects. Oh, can I talk to your boss? Yeah, that's me.
Right.
So, generally speaking, I think nowadays, in the last, I don't know, like 10 years or so, it's been more commonplace for women to be on site.
Sure.
It's been more accepted, or not questioned. But definitely, I have older colleagues that are females in this industry that have had more problems in the past, and I'm grateful that things are changing, and that I work with partners and subcontractors that do give respect and do understand, and are very, very thoughtful.
Yeah, got it. Do you ever feel any pressure? And you may have hinted this before, I can't remember, but do you ever feel any pressure to perform better or do more, or you don't think much about it? I know for me, and I'm just sharing my story too for my own listeners and for you, just to top a discussion here. I don't anymore. I mean, I've been doing this enough that I know who I am when I'm at the stage, but at times, I know who I am. Let me put it that way. So I'm thinking, if I trip up the stairs going to the famous talk with 10,000 people, they'll look at me just a bit different than the other guy who tripped up the stairs. Anything like that, or no? Is that
yeah, absolutely. I definitely feel like I have something extra to prove, because I want my small circle of people I interact with on the job site to say to whoever they're talking to, oh yeah, we've got a female GC and she's killing it. She's better than all the other GCs we work with. And I don't want them to say, oh, we got this female GC and we should have more, we should have all men on site. Like, I don't want them to that thought to ever cross their mind. And with the people I work with, I don't think it does, but it definitely is something inherent in my mind.
Yeah. Or we have to work with her. In my case, you know what, Ramon, I know you're the second best speaker, but we need a black guy. Dang. So come on over, Ramon. Well, yeah.
HGTV stuff too.
Yes.
They don't want to have a full team of just guys that they're showcasing on their network. I've been called and asked, hey, we need a female on the build team.
Sure.
And that's basically the entry level of the requirement.
Sure. Until you kick butt and crush it. And to that point, tell us about your HGTV deal. I had it in front of me somewhere, but can you recap that for me? I know there's something's going on there exciting. What is it and how did it happen?
So I just finished a show called Build Me Up, and I was on 3 episodes out of, I believe there were 7 in total. There were less than anticipated because it wrapped just before the shutdown. So they got really lucky, the production company, but it was really up against the wire there. So I was the head contractor and worked with Orlando Soria, who's the host, who's absolutely amazing, great designer. So it was really a pleasure to work with him. And we had 3 different homes that we worked on, different scope for all 3 in all different areas. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, these were really imaginative spaces, not your average cookie cutter, like bland spaces, like really, really inventive. So Build Me Up aired on HGTV over the summer, and it's since wrapped. I believe reruns are still happening on the network, if you got DirecTV or something like that. And then we're in talks to do maybe another show. It'll be a different title, but we'll see. I'm sort of keeping that under wraps for now, but we'll let everyone know as soon as I can.
Excellent. Anytime you want to have a show where you have to have a cameo experience for a smart hustler, you call me. Like, can Ramon do it? You be that back there in your Ford 50, whatever it is. Ramon, okay, take these bricks, Ramon. Run, Ramon. I will fail. I guarantee, Ramon. It only takes the average person to nail this 5 times. I promise you, Natalia, it'll take me 50 times. So when you want that part of the show, you call me. This is drywall. Contractor does it in 2 hours. Can Ramon do it in 6? I'm your guy. You call me.
Good to know.
But I do like getting my hands dirty for sure. But it just, I'm just like my kids and my family can tell. Now we're in a different place, but I like construction, electrical work and stuff. You can tell when dad does it. Wires out, duct tape stapled or whatever, the wall. I patched it, but you can tell dad patched it. So
DIY.
Natalia, this has been great. Where do you see the future going for your company? And remind us once again, what's the name of the company? And those, hey, interested in working with you, give us the website, please, before we conclude.
Sure. The business name is Curato Design Build, spelled Curato, and the website is curatodb, like designbuild.com. So curatodb.com. And my Instagram handle is at Natalia, spelled with a Y, _Curato, Curato. And a lot of my project updates are on that as well.
I love it. And then tell us, before we kind of go, if there's anything else you wanted to ask, feel free to do so. But I'm curious, Natalia, what other advice would you give to the small businesses out there? Many are either, I think there's three types as we record this today, being towards the end of the year. I think one is there's those who are suffering, have had to close their business. They're doing horrifically bad.
Yes.
You have those that are on the other end, and I'm blessed to be in this category right now. We're doing relatively well. My business is up, I guess, based on the type of business that I'm in, the media business. Then there's those that are in the middle. They're kind of still in that. So it's a complicated question, but I know you can handle it. My question to you is, what's your advice? Anything that you say to America's small businesses that you've learned over the past few months, that you see in the future, word of encouragement, or if you want to depress us, do that too. But anything you'd like to close out with?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say lean into what's working and pivot if you can, and try to look at options. And, I've been very fortunate not to have had to market much or advertise much, but it also means that I sort of take projects as they come and haven't had time really to be deliberate about, hey, what do I want to go after? What do I want to go find? And so I would say, like, leaning into existing clients that are working out and are taking care of those companies, reaching out to them, leaning into those projects, and then pivoting if necessary. We've known, since doing our podcast, we've known several small businesses that have pivoted completely during this time and are thriving and are, on the up and up and figuring things out. And maybe they're leaning into things that they've been pushing off, ideas on how to branch out their business that they've pushed off until now. And now they have the time suddenly and are really, really going after that. So I would say, yeah, leaning into what has been working, clients that have been taking care of you, and then also, looking at maybe pivoting and what that might look like for the market.
I love that. Listen, this is so powerful. I'm so glad for your success. We love talking to amazing smart hustlers like you. Kudos to your husband if he's there anywhere. Hubby, you're doing a great job too. But thank you so much, and all the best to you and your business. Once again, everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Media at smarthustle.com. If you're hearing this, hit the share button, hit the comment button, hit the like button, hit the rating button. I think that's enough buttons for today. And thank you all so much for listening.
Thank you, Ramon.
You're welcome, Natalia.